if I was being critical of the last 15 years, some of these issues, maybe we knew they were bubbling. So I'll give you an example of an issue that everyone should have known was coming and we kind of knew we should kind of be getting on with, but we haven't dealt with it, right? Which is most pension schemes now that people are saving into don't offer them a route to use that savings pot into retirement as a way of drawing down an income as a pension, right? We basically said, right, let's get everyone saving, and that's a good thing, but we haven't yet fixed the bit of the system about how do you use a defined contribution, which is what most people are saving into now, pot, to provide your income in retirement. Yeah, there's ways to do it. Obviously, the larger pension schemes do provide routes to doing that, particularly if they're contract-based schemes run by big insurers, but lots don't. So that leaves individuals wrestling with the system, which is like we basically said, we're not expecting you to engage in the pension savings bit. We're doing that automatically through automatic enrolment. But that suddenly at the point of retirement, we expect you to become a completely hyper-engaged investor who's able to think about all the different fees, all the different range of products, somehow manage the risk about, how long we all live. It's not nice to talk about, but why are pensions important? Partly because none of us can on our own manage the financial risk of whether we get lucky and live till we're 100 or die a lot younger. And in retirement, that's really important because you're not working, you need your pension to provide that. And what you see happening in countries that haven't thought that through is that some people will consume far too little. I see a bit of that in Australia. If you look at what's happening, bigger pension pots, but lots of them are not being used, right? Because they're not protecting people against that risk, that people hoard it or they want to pass it on, whatever. So people either consume too little, that's bad. We don't want pensioners having a bad time. We want them to enjoy life. Or they overconsume and spend loads of money in the first 5-10 years of retirement and then accidentally find they get to 100 and then they're really hard up. So that is what we need to make sure we're fixing. So a bit of complacency about thinking ahead. It's not that was happening in the system. Most people who were retiring, weren't relying on their defined contribution pots in the last 10 years as their big main pension. Some were, but most weren't. But in 10 years, 15 years, they will be, and we need to have the system in place for that. So a bit of complacency around that. I think the industry would say politicians haven't kind of got going on the debating what's the right level of saving for the long term. Obviously, the industry has an interest in high levels of saving and they'd like the sector to be as big as possible. Totally fair enough. On that, our job is obviously to think what's right for the individuals and what's right for businesses. And that's what the Commission is all about.